Small business is the foundation of all activity in this country. I have been very blessed in my years of being a small business owner, of being able to dream, being able to figure out what it is that I need to do in order for me to achieve that dream. I will always have written specific goals and objectives. They might change, and they will change. Your small business has to be dynamic enough to make change. When we think we know how we're going to achieve our goals and objectives, we think we know. So we go ahead and we create a plan and we execute that plan. We don't know that it's going to work. You and I determine if that business plan with its specific goals and objectives is going to succeed. If there is a financial model tied directly to that small business initiative, you have to realize the terms and conditions of that model. In the case of David's Barter Community, I haven't borrowed any money outside money to build the community. I decided several years ago that I was going to build the community with my own personal resources. It had its limitations, but that's what I was going to do. I did not, at this stage of my life, I didn't want to be obligated to somebody else because they were financing my operation. That's a decision I made for myself, right or wrong. That's the decision that I made. And I've actually lived with that type of decision the entire time that I have been a small business owner. Only one time in my life did I ever borrow money from a bank. And I was 29 years old at the time. I borrowed $10,000 from that bank. I was very fortunate in that particular instance. Back in those days, you didn't have to necessarily take a big, detailed business plan and sign away your firstborn in order to get a bank loan. I took in a very simple document, probably 10 pages, shared my vision, shared my dreams, shared my ideas with a banker who had never met me before. It was the first time that we had met one another. And I I said the right things that got his interest in taking his bank's money and investing in my business project. 24 hours later, literally 24 hours later from the time that I had done the presentation to him, he gave me a check for $10,000. That was back in 1978, late 1978, and $10,000 then, I have no idea, it had to be at least $100,000 today, equivalent, with inflation. That banker got his money back more quickly than the terms of the loan were, with his interest premium. I don't even remember what interest rate I paid on that loan. But that was the only time in my life when I borrowed money. All other times I have taken personal savings. And used the money that I generated in the business to put it back in the business and grow it, whatever. That formula has worked for me, obviously. I'm still using that formula today. It doesn't work for everybody, but I think the fact that it works for me is that I got started young enough that I wasn't smart enough to know all the things that you probably need to know or probably need to have a handle on when I started the business. I just did it. I just did it, and it has worked for me. So I guess what where I'm going with this is that as owners of online communities, be it Facebook, be it LinkedIn, be it Twitter, be it davidsbarter, we want to do the things that will create interest, activity, and participation in our communities. That's our major goal and objective. And it might be social, as Facebook is. It might be totally business, as davidsbarter is. Or it might be something in between the two, where I kind of put LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a lot about where people are in their lives, as well as identification of business opportunities. Not only do we have an obligation to our community members, those who enter our community for whatever reason they enter, we have an obligation to ourselves. And I'm going to end this this little discussion with I know that I have the right to host on our servers that I am paying for what information is being hosted. And if there's something I think is detrimental to the community as a whole, or detrimental to me as the owner of the business, then I won't host it. I'll eliminate it. I have that right. That's the right that we have in any business that we do, to make the business decisions that need to be made. Be they right, be they wrong, we have the right to make that decision. So I applaud YouTube and the folks at Google for blocking out that YouTube video that was supposed to have caused all the commotion in the Middle East. They blocked it out, I think, to Libya for sure, and I think they blocked it out to Egypt, if I'm not mistaken. Interesting that that was their response to diffuse, or do what they could to diffuse the tension. Do they have an obligation to do whatever anybody wants to do on YouTube? No. You can do it, and if it rubs against their philosophies, their guidelines, their terms of service, then they have every right to eliminate that. That's why and we're going to talk about this some other time, that's why I take the position on privacy that I do. If you are willing to go into Facebook and use the technology that Facebook presents to you and spends millions of billions, in their case, of dollars creating that technology, then Facebook has the right to use any information that you give them for whatever marketing purposes they want to. If you don't want them to have your private information, don't give them your private information. It's that simple. If they require it to use a particular service, then you have the choice. Do I want that service bad enough that I am giving up the privacy of the information? That's a decision that you make. And so we'll talk about privacy. And you've heard me say it before that privacy, your privacy, and your security in our community is of utmost importance to us. And I have expended additional resources to do whatever I can do to protect your security in any way that I can, and to protect the privacy of your information. I don't need private information to make the community function. I don't need it. If you want to give up private information to other members of the community as you develop those business relationships, as you collaborate on business, that's your decision to do that. But I don't need it, and I don't want that private information because I don't want the liability of hosting that private information on our servers, on our community servers. Because if there's ever a breach of your privacy based upon individuals getting information from our servers, I am liable. If I am not, well, I'm liable, but I have to demonstrate that I took the precautions necessary, and if I can't do that, then I am subject to fines. Something I definitely don't want to be subject to as we move forward. Okay, the question is, what are you going to be doing for the next 108 days? I hope you are thinking about that question. Because it's important. If anything is going to happen in the next 108 days, you start to take control of that activity as best you possibly can. And the only way you're going to take control is to plan, strategize, write it down, and see if you can make it happen. That concept is extremely important in business. There are so many things that need to be done to make a business successful. So many things. I am involved in more details right now than I have ever been. Any single word of content that you find on any of the landing pages in our community, I created it. Except if you have your own landing page, and you will create it. So for the next 108 days, write down what you want to accomplish. I hope those accomplishments will include creating either one of two things, or both of them. becoming a mentor of entrepreneurship in our community. Mentors are going to be extremely important. To find out more information about how you can become a mentor, what the expectations will be of you, and what you will get in return for your investment, be it small as it is, to become a mentor of entrepreneurship. We want to have 10,000 mentors of entrepreneurship who will understand how our social marketing, social network technology can work for them, and then they will teach another aspiring entrepreneur how it can work, how it should work for them. Not only the social marketing, social network technology platform of our community, but also business in general. So to be a mentor of entrepreneurship, you probably have to have a number of years of experience so that you are a good mentor and you have the experiences that you can share with other individuals who don't have those same experiences. Okay, so mentor of entrepreneurship, major goal and objective of ours. Major goal and objective of ours is also to, we're making available 10,000 landing pages, complimentary for 50 days, to 10,000 entrepreneurs who want to start a business now with a good business idea. You have to register to do all that for all the reasons that you've already heard. So we need 10,000 mentors of entrepreneurship. We need 10,000 entrepreneurs who want to start a business. Start it with our social marketing, social network technology. If you can make it work for you, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to, if you just do what we do, it's working for us with the right idea, bringing the right value to the marketplace, being able to demonstrate a return on investment resources, it'll work for you. That's what we're going to be doing for the next 108 days. What are you going to be doing?